I get this question a lot. How do I remain so hopeful despite what's going on in the world? And quite frankly, I don't. I'm gonna keep it real, and that's the point of me making this video, is to just show you that, hey, I'm worried too. And if I appear hopeful online, that is to trick myself that I am actually hopeful, and then also to keep the hope going in you guys. I remain hopeful as a presence online because I don't want you guys to lose hope either. Why am I making this video if I don't want you guys to lose hope? I also want to keep it real. I don't want to be a total fake online, and I'm not doing this to lie to people, but I'm doing this to spread climate positivity and keep the positivity going because there's already enough negativity online. I don't want to contribute to that negativity, so I try to as little as possible. I will share stuff, yes, even bad news, because I think spreading information and spreading facts is important. Doomism is totally different in saying like, everything is bad, everything sucks, and we shouldn't try at all. The world's gonna end, we're all gonna die. Like, that's doomism. But just saying like, hey, this important thing is happening, and that's just the fact of life, that's not doomism. Spreading facts is not doomism. I will continue to spread the facts, and I will continue to remain as hopeful as possible. But I'm not always 100% positive myself. So let's talk about it. Hello everyone, it's Emma, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all sorts of things zero waste, focusing on free, easy, and fun ways to live low waste, and recently, ways that we can all be activists. If I talk a little bit too fast for you, there's a gear icon right down here where you can hit the speed of the video, but I think today's gonna be a little bit chill. Grab a craft, grab a drink. I meant to make myself a tea. My voice is hoarse from going to a protest yesterday. That's one way that I remain hopeful. I'm doing this on a whim because I wanted to talk about this in two parts. One, the reality of my life as an online activist, and also as I become more involved with activism in my personal life. So how I keep the hope, but also I want to be real with you guys. I want to talk about my worries, and then you can share your worries down below as well. So let's start with what I'm scared about. Everything. I'm scared about everything. Every day truly is a new horror from this administration. From, was it just yesterday? I don't remember the exact name of the bill, but they're trying to take away, not fully take away, but just make it more difficult for women, for people of color, for non-white males to be financially independent. At the same time, they're also rewarding people for having children, $5,000 per child that you birth, and also you get special rewards, special medals, achievement unlocked when you reach 6 or more children. And if this doesn't scare you, it should. This is straight out of The Handmaid's Tale. Honestly, that's what frightens me the most, is seeing dystopian fiction that was written decades ago as a warning to people coming true. Gosh, especially that line from The Handmaid's Tale in the show, in which Offred is just like, you know, they took away women's access to money. We didn't do anything. They killed Congress. We didn't do anything. That's how I feel. I feel every single day something awful comes down the pipes, comes out on the news. We're not doing anything. And I get it because I too feel powerless. What am I supposed to do? If I just go take to the street, I'm taking to the street. What's that gonna do? If I call my representative, great, that's an achievement, that's an action. What is that gonna do? This is why I try not to get too far into doomism, right? Because when you look at it through that lens, oh my gosh, let me go get Ishmael real quick. I'm reading another book right now. Okay, so here's what I'm reading right now, Ishmael, which is fiction. It's like an allegory. If you don't know the premise, it is this like sentient gorilla who is teaching this man about saving the world. And it sounds very cheesy and like what's happening, but dang, there's some great messaging in here. So our main character talks about how in college he was writing this story, these two people in Nazi Germany. In his story, our main character writes this story, the Nazis win, generations go by. Now on the world, there's only the Aryan race. It's only Germans, only speaking German, only worshiping this new religion called Hitlerism. And then the character in this story that our main character writes goes, I suspect we're being lied to. And like, that's how it ends. And so he himself starts thinking, our main character, like, oh, I suspect I'm being lied to as well. And then our gorilla, Ishmael, so like, what are you gonna do about it? And our main character says, I found out that as a practical matter, it doesn't make any difference. Whether we have figured out what we're being lied to about. Whether we're being lied to or not, we will still have to get up, go to work, pay the bills, and all the rest. And then Ishmael says, unless of course, you all begin to suspect you are being lied to, and you all find out what the lie is. Ishmael continues, if you alone found out that lie, then yeah, probably it's not gonna make a difference. But if you all found out what that lie was, it might conceivably make a very great difference indeed. Beautiful. That is what keeps me going. That one little piece of hope is what gives me the rest of the hope that I have. And yeah, it's a very like fine line to walk between too much pessimism and too much optimism. My little difference to make a phone call to my representative doesn't really matter. But what if we all do it? My one individual action to reduce a plastic water bottle doesn't matter. But what if we all do it, right? Me attending a protest doesn't matter, but what if we all protest? You get the idea. I don't need to give you any more examples. And truly, that's kind of like why I keep posting and why I keep posting in such a positive way and really just cementing to people that your small actions matter. Keep doing them. Inspire others to make small actions. That is the best thing that I think we can do right now. So Bizzle just made a really great video recently talking about how Pretty much all of the major movements, the anti-Vietnam movement, civil rights movement of the 60s, only required about 3.7% of the population to make those changes. Isn't that crazy? Only 3.7%. That is still a lot of people. Hey Siri, what is the US population? So we'll just round it to 340,000. That's still 13 million people. It's still a lot of people that are required in a movement to really make a change. Again, we don't have to have the entire nation on board. We only need 3 to 4% of the nation on board to make these major changes. That gives me hope too. That is why I continue to tell you guys, one of the best things that we can do for the planet, for society, for our own rights at this point, to inspire others to care and inspire others to take little actions. Yet this 3.7% either, it doesn't have to be like the best protesters. It doesn't have to be the loudest voices. There's so many different roles that arise in movements. Your role could simply just be sharing stuff on social media. Maybe you have extra funds. Your role could be a donator. Like you could donate to people who go to protests. You could donate to people who get arrested and need bailed out. You could donate to organizations who are fighting this stuff legally. A community builder. If someone in your neighborhood wants to go to a protest but they have a child, offer to babysit. If someone in your neighborhood wants to go to a protest and maybe they need dinner, cook them a meal. Like there are ways that you can help your community in more ways than going to a protest. Because I think that's what a lot of people think too, is that if you want to fight this fight, you have to protest. And yeah, obviously that makes the most noise. That's going to get the most attention. It's important. All of this is important. I think that's what's not recognized enough, is everything that we are doing for the fight matters. Every little thing. And truly, I think what we just need right now is numbers, and having conversations matters. I think a lot of people would get on board, but not enough people are watching the news. Not enough people are aware. They are trying to put autistic people on a registry, which is the first step that happened during the Holocaust. People are not aware that they are sending US citizens to a concentration camp in El Salvador. Not enough people are aware that Trump is trying to take away the rights of women to get passports, therefore vote. I think if more people were aware of this stuff, they would care and do something about it. The media has done such a good job over the last several decades, honestly probably since Reagan. Reagan ruined everything, my sticker's back there, of demonizing the news. I know so many people in my close life that are like, the news is just too scary, I don't watch it. I know, I'm scared too, but do something with your scaredness. Another great book that I love, Let This Radicalize You. Take your fear, take your anger, take your anxiety, and let it move you to do something. We don't have to deal with this. We don't have to sit here and just take it. We can do something. And again, it takes 13 million people, but that's only 3 to 4% of people. I'm not asking everybody to take to the streets, but we all have to do something. So honestly, I think that's what it comes down to too for me. It's like, I am scared. I'm in a point of privilege in which I will probably fare okay. White, I am a woman. I'm losing rights every day, but I'm in a straight passing relationship. I'm disabled, but invisibly. They're not gonna know. So like there's ways that I can sneak by societally and use my true privilege and my hidden privileges to make changes. And I really encourage people who have those privileges as well to speak up, right? Like I'm not asking the most marginalized of us to step up and do stuff. I'm asking the most privileged of us to step up and do something. Do something if you have money. Do something if you have white skin. Do something if you are a man. Because you are at least risk of this administration. There are plenty of reasons why I am scared for our planet and for my own rights and for my own safety, but I use that fear to move me. I use that fear to dial my phone. I use that fear to sign a petition. I use that fear to make signs and go to a protest. I use that fear to get educated and read books and spread the word. I use that fear to inspire you guys. I'm not trying to scare anybody. Like that is the last thing I want to do, is use my fear to scare people. And that's another reason why I don't talk about it, because I don't want to contribute to that message of the news is scary, the news is bad, we can't do anything. That is why I remain so positive online, because there's always hope. There is never a reason to lose hope 100% of the time. I don't want people to get to the point they turn everything off and they become ignorant to the point. I want people to learn the facts. I want people to be aware of what is happening in the White House and in our state governments, but I want people to be inspired to do something with that fear, that anxiety. I know so many friends who have lost their jobs months ago, still can't find jobs, therefore people being unable to live in their homes. This is increasing homelessness. Again, even beyond national politics, my state politics are also worrisome. They're union busting at my school. Homelessness in my county is being criminalized. Of course, nobody cares about climate change. Quite frankly, I don't even care about climate change right now, which is scary because like that's why I started my platform, because I care about the earth and I care about the climate. But unfortunately, that is the least of my concerns right now. Joe Biden didn't do anything for the climate. Like if we get another Democrat in the White House, nothing's gonna they're not going to do anything for the climate. I've kind of lost faith in that. Again, I still have hope. I still think there's a lot that we can do individually for the planet. I still think there's a lot that we can do in our city and our state governments. States like Maine. Maine is doing amazing things for the planet. So I look to that for hope. I look to the good news for hope for myself, for my own state, but also just seeing the connectedness, right? Like, I think everybody should have their specialty, their niche. I think if we all diversify our worries, our needs, our fight too much, spread ourselves too thin, we don't become specialized on one thing and we can easily burn out. To my core, I'm an environmentalist. I care about human rights. I care about Black Lives Matter. I care about Palestine because I'm an environmentalist, because it's all connected. My identity is rooted in environmentalism. There are people that I protest with that their identity is rooted in Palestine. So therefore, they are also environmentalists because it's all related. But I speak about all of these issues because they are connected. It all comes back to intersectionality. Another great book. You can check out all of my book racks on my website. Yes, while I am an environmentalist to my core and climate change is always going to be of a huge concern to me, why is the climate of my least concerns? Because one, again, Biden wasn't going to do anything. Trump sure as heck is not going to do anything about the climate. It's still so partisan, which is crazy. It's crazy that climate change is such a divisive issue, but unfortunately it is. Therefore, I would like to focus on other issues that I think are less divisive, still divisive of course. I think there's going to be a good portion of people, even who voted for Trump, when they hear stuff like, oh, they're taking away my right to vote, they're taking away my right to have finances, I think that will frighten a lot of women, regardless of who you voted for. And that's kind of what I'm rallying behind. I'm picking these issues that are most important that I think more people can rally behind because they're also more tangible. I think it can be really hard for people to get on board with fighting for climate change because it's hard to conceptualize. If you don't live on the coast, if you don't live in California where there's always wildfires, if you don't live in Las Vegas where there's continuous drought, it's really hard to fathom climate change affecting you, even though it is every single day. It's affecting everybody every single day all across the world. It's a lot harder to grasp as a concept. But if they take away your right to vote, that's right here, right now. That's tangible. You can see that impacting your life immediately right this second, which I think is an easier cause to get people to rally behind. If we fix our political system, I don't really have all that much hope, to be frank. Figure out a way to stop capitalism, right? Like that will solve the climate crisis. We can't fix the climate crisis under capitalism. We can't stop wars under capitalism. We can't stop wars with colonialism. We can't fix climate change without colonialism. All of this is connected. And I think this is just ultimately what it comes to. All this time, I want to fix climate change, as I'm sure we all do in this eco space. Ever since the beginning, it has always been, let's fix climate change. It's been happening slowly over the last 5 years or so. It's always just been, yeah, like let's stop emissions, let's quit plastic waste, yada, yada, yada. But in the last year or so, as I have broadened my horizons, especially when it comes to reading, and I'm reading about other socio-political issues, slave labor in the Congo, overconsumption, and reading political books about fascism and about the two-party system and about the military-industrial complex. It has led me to draw this connection that, oh, we can't just fix climate change and leave everything else the same. We can't fix climate change while remaining in a society that overconsumes so much. We can't fix climate change in a society that values the dollar and nothing else and does not value human lives. We cannot solve climate change while we are exploiting people around the globe. It's all connected. If we want to fix climate change, if we want to fix poverty, if we want to fix homelessness, if we want to fix racial injustice, those are the problems. Which is why, again, obviously I still care deeply about climate change, but I have just learned that, oh, the root climate change of climate change is not climate change. Did that make sense? The root problem of this problem is not this problem. The root problem of this problem is actually down here. This is like at the top of the tree. It's not even anywhere close to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is way down here, and you gotta keep digging. You gotta keep asking questions and seeking out answers and connecting the dots, and truly intersectionality. If you're gonna read any of the books I recommend, it's gotta be The Intersectional Environmentalist. Leah does a great job of showing us how everything is connected, and you will really open your eyes. You will really start to see, like, war is a huge problem. Why do we go to war? Slavery is a huge problem. Why do we do slavery? We don't just go to war for the sake of going to war. We go to war for the sake of hatred is one of them, erasing a people. We go to war for resources. That's the big one for the US at least. We go to war over land. We don't just go to war for fun. There's a reason. You know, if we're really trying to get to the root of capitalism even. It's money and power and hatred. I am not an expert on any of this. This is just the conclusions that I have personally drawn from reading the books I have read, from interacting with the people that I have interacted with in life, the countries that I have traveled to. Wow, that was a lot of yapping. Did I actually get to a point? My point is this. Every day, we are bombarded with news, partially on purpose. They want us to be distracted from what happened yesterday. They want us to be distracted from what's going to happen tomorrow. For example, Trump just announced how he's reinstating Columbus Day because the woke mob erased it. That's really not a big deal. Obviously, it sucks. We should not be celebrating that man. But that's a distraction. Same with the Gulf of America. That was a distraction for bigger things. Don't let them distract you. Distraction comes in the form of bombarding you with news, in the form of despair, in the form of hopelessness, in the form of making you feel powerless. Don't let them distract you. You have power. You have a voice. There is hope to be had. And if anything, be like me. Be hopeful out of spite. Because they want us to be hopeless. I'm not giving them that satisfaction. They want us to feel powerless. I am not giving them that satisfaction. If that's what it takes for you to be hopeful and to think that you have power, do it out of spite. I don't care. But also, just factually, like looking at history gives me hope. Seeing people overcome struggles in the past gives me hope. Find whatever gives you hope. Maybe it's good climate news. Maybe you have to set your Google feed or your New York Times, however you get your news, filter it so that you get good news first thing in the morning. For me, it's also like when I go to protests, when I go to rallies, when I speak to especially older people, they give me hope. They have been fighting this fight for, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. They're still going. They know they are not going to see the fruits of their labor. And quite frankly, I might not even see the fruits of my labor. Oh, that was in Sunrise on the Reaping. Let me get another book to reference. My favorite book of the year, quite possibly my favorite book of all time. Spoilers ahead. I can't find the precise quote. We can especially see this in the Hunger Games. If you've read all 5 of these books, people are fighting for the rebellion, for the revolution, for at least 75 years. And we know that the Dark Days was caused because people were fighting for the end of their oppression before this set of these books. So their oppression has been going on for more than 75 years. And someone says in here, I don't even remember who said it or where they said it, but it was just the fact that, hey, I might not live to see the fruits of my labor, but that's not why I do what I do. That is not why I'm fighting for justice. That is not why I'm fighting for the end of oppression. I'm doing that so that someone else can reap those benefits. Because yeah, it would be great. It would be absolutely fantastic if I could see the solving of climate change. It would be absolutely amazing. I could see the end of oppression in my lifetime. It's not an overnight fight. That's more like what the quote is. It is not sitting here fighting for one day and saying, all right, I'm done. Where's my reward? It is fighting for years and years and years because you know that your fight will end up making somebody else's life better in the future. And that is the hope that I get from older people. That was my point, is seeing older people out there doing this for their grandchildren, doing this for their children, for their great-grandchildren, for their great-great-grandchildren that they'll never even get to meet. They do this in the hopes that a stranger someday will reap the rewards of that. And that is what I want to embody. I think as a society, we have become too accustomed to getting rewards immediately, to getting rewards all the time, and also doing stuff selfishly. And I think there's a time and place to be selfish, but when it comes to social justice, that is not the time nor the place. We fight for social justice because it helps somebody else. We fight for social justice because it helps a neighbor, a fellow human, which I think really just comes down to the emphasis of building community. And I'm gonna make a video coming soon about how I personally build community, some tips for you as well, and recognizing the humanity in your neighbors. And I didn't get here in this mindset overnight either. In the same way that we don't build a revolution overnight, you can't unpack your years of propaganda overnight either. I will leave you with this. It is okay to be scared. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to be whatever emotion insert here. But quite frankly, I don't think it's okay to give up. It's okay to take a step back. If you're feeling too overwhelmed right now, turn off the news for 24 hours. Go take a walk, go indulge in a hobby, especially to prevent burnout. Burnout is very, very difficult to recover from. If you feel it creeping up, take a step back. If you sign up for a bunch of mutual aid stuff and you realize that's too much on your plate, take a step back. But please never give up. And please inspire others to join in. Again, I'm not asking for everyone to become a revolutionary. I'm asking for people to pay attention, to care. I'm asking for people to not turn a blind eye to the injustices happening in this administration and in the next one, should there be a next one, hopefully. This is not a conservative issue. This is not a MAGA issue. We've had issues similar under pretty much every president, at least in recent history, at least in my lifetime. Right? I'm not gonna sit here and hope that a Democrat gets into office and yay, the world is solved. No, none of this goes away should a Democrat be in office. It will be less bad. Sure, I think we would still be more secure in having the right to vote as women under a Democratic administration. But climate change still exists. Deportation still exists. Genocide still exists. War still exists under a conservative and a Democrat. Big problem with our two-party system. And yeah, it's complicated. Again, I'm not a politician. I'm not a political science person. I don't know the precise answer here. But I do know there is hope. I do know that we have each other. I do know that, like Shaw Bizzle said in that video, we don't need it. 100% of people to do this. It would be great if 100% of people cared, but I know that's not gonna happen either. If you're looking for some action items, inspire others in your life. Maybe you share this video with them. Maybe you share a book with them. Maybe you read a book together and discuss it. Maybe you join a book club. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be difficult. It's important to do this outside of your bubble as well. I am very guilty of this. I love getting into my little bubble of people who think the same things as me and just saying and calling it a day. But it's also important to talk to people who voted for Trump. It's important to talk to people who still support the Democrats of all different walks of lives, political parties, associations, etc., etc. Because when you have conversations in a respectful way, you don't have to call somebody dumb for their vote. When you have respectful conversations, you may change minds. Maybe not change minds, but you may open minds. And that is important as well. It gets people thinking. Action item number 2, I encourage you to get educated. Are the solutions in my book recommendations? No. But education is a great first step. I've learned a lot from the Intersectional Environmentalist, and Let This Radicalize You. They have given me a lot of hope. Mutual Aid is also a really great book at a time like this. Reading political books, I know they're not fun and saucy and exciting, but they are important, especially as book bans go into place. So let's do it. Again, do it out of spite. I don't care how you do it, why you do it. Get a library card, do it for free, support your library, especially at a time like this. Listen to audiobooks. You could even crank up the speed to 1.5 or 2 or 2.5 or 3 if you're crazy like I am. Knock those books out while you craft, while you drive. Those are the 2 best things I think we can do right now, as well as number 3, build community. And I know I'm saying that as a blanket statement. This video is long enough. I will make a full video on building community in the future. But for me right now, that means joining like political movements, people that I can protest with, people that I can sign petitions with, people that I can rally with at school to make a difference at my school, make a difference at your workplace. To me, that also looks like a hobby that I can enjoy with friends, and that hobby right now is swing dancing. To socialize with people, make friends. One of my swing dance friends now has become my political friend. So it's really cool that we have that overlap. So those are just a few examples. And that's what I'm asking of you today. Have those hard conversations. Inspire people in your life, especially people in your life that you know already think similarly to you. Inspire them to do more than just be worried about it. Inspire them to use that worry and take action. Read books, get educated. Book recs on my website. If you want to join my book club, it is down below, where we do read eco and sometimes political books, and we discuss them and we talk about how we can implement this stuff in our life. It's also a little bit of a community. I highly encourage in-person community. Online community is great. I've done it for, 7 or 8 years. It's amazing. But in-person community just hits different. And number 3, build community. Build a community of people that you can rely on, especially if things do get worse. If you need to borrow a cup of sugar, if you need somebody to watch your dog, if you need somebody to stand up for your rights, all important reasons why we build community. I appreciate your time, especially the length of the video and the topic of the video. Neither of these things are very sexy for the algo. So thank you for your support. If you support this message, please engage with it down below. That does help support spreading the word, and also shows YouTube and other apps that this content is important and needs to be heard. So please support any political content you see. I also have a list of people that I recommend you follow on my website on the same page as my books. You can check it out below. Follow them, support them, engage with their content. And last but not least, let us know what you crafted down below. Did you craft with me as a little craft and yap? Truly, if you guys want me to do a craft and yap as like a little, subsection of my channel, I am happy to. I love talking about politics. I love talking about anything. I love talking. I love crafting. Happily do a craft and yap like once a month. I'm also happy to do it on live. I'm open to anything. If you guys like this content, let me know. If you like this style of content, let me know. Let me know what you crafted below. If you drank a fun little tea during our craft and yap, let me know as well. Speaking of crafting and yapping, that's basically all we do in our book club. I bring my crochet, we yap about books. It is a good time. Let's continue to have hope. Let's continue to work together. Let's continue to fight for the future that we want. And not just like what I want for selfish reasons. Again, I think you all agree with me. We want this future, a future where we solve climate change, a future where everybody has the right to clean air and water and housing and food. We want that for everybody. We want that for our children, for our grandchildren, for generations to come. And yeah, I would love to see that for myself as well. And maybe we can make that happen. Yes, it's more likely that it'll happen for someone else in years to come. It's very possible we could make that future for ourselves right here, right now. A video that I made where I was gonna be sad and hopeless, I end up feeling more motivated. I end up feeling more hopeful. Maybe that's an extra bonus tip. Just talk this stuff out, even if you're just talking to yourself in a room. That's honestly all I'm doing right now. I am talking to a camera, and this is going out on YouTube as you're seeing this, but right now, as I'm sitting, I'm in a room by myself, just talking through these things. It was helpful. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me and my content, especially as I shift a little bit more politically, just a little bit, just ever so slightly. I will see you in the next video though. But until then, remember that your small actions truly do make a big difference in the long run. Bye guys. I could have swore it was in here. Dang, where'd it go? Yes, I found it. Where was I going with that? I don't know, before I got distracted by the book. All this to say, I don't really know what else to say, quite frankly, at this point. Where was I going with this? That's all the bloopers are gonna be, is me saying that. Maybe I should crochet and yap more often. I'm spitting. Where was I going?